Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today I'm working on an EK hatchback with a D16 turbo. This car actually just got dropped off and said that he needed me to chip the ECU or put a base map on it so he could at least get it running. But I told him I haven't been doing a whole lot of base map stuff lately. It's better for people just to drop the car off because, let's be real guys, pretty much every car that I've dealt with that has come in, it's needed more than just a base map or just a tune, you know what I'm saying? So this car is really kind of no different. So what I did to kind of start off with this thing, obviously, is what I always do is I just make sure the engine has oil, coolant is topped off, and all that kind of stuff. And I plugged my ECU in, plugged the tuning ECU in, I should say, and I uploaded a base map with Honda Tuning Suite. This car has a set of high impedance RC 550s, so that shouldn't be an issue. We have fuel pressure, and this car had no intercooler piping on when it came, and it had the vacuum hose that goes to the HCAS blow-off valve just kind of chilling there, like the vacuum nipple actually busted out of the blow-off valve. So I slammed that back in, and I just chucked on this pipe because he couldn't put it on the trailer with the intercooler piping on there. So he took all the intercooler piping off before he put it on the trailer, and he brought it to me with the intercooler piping taken off. So I have to install the intercooler piping back onto the car, which it is what it is. So everything checked out. Got that ECU plugged in there, and I'll show you what the car is doing. So we'll key it on. I also noticed that the car did not have an intake air temp sensor plugged in, so I just bypassed the IAT on the tune, and yeah, this is what it does when I fire it up. We are idling around 3,000 RPM. And I don't know if you guys can hear. We got a whistle coming from something. The motor sounds good, but there's a whistle coming from the intake manifold area. So I proceed to grab my brake cleaner here. And just assuming that it's a throttle body issue, quieted right down right when I sprayed some brake cleaner in there. So that's what we need to do, is we need to pull the throttle body off of this thing. Still idling around 3K. So big vacuum leak that we need to address. That's what I'm talking about with that nipple on the HKS blow-off valve here. I'm going to take this piping back off of the car once again, and we're going to start by removing the throttle body and seeing what we got going on. Take the throttle cable off here. And then we got two coolant lines going to the fast idle. So I just gotta grab a socket and ratchet, a pliers to take off the coolant hoses, and then 4 bolts for the throttle body. I'll pick up with you guys once I get the throttle body off of the car. Alright guys, it's actually the next day, and I got this thing up and running, as you can tell. I actually live streamed last night for a little while, and we fixed the idle on the live stream. It ended up being just that the throttle body gasket was wrong. We just kind of RTV'd the throttle body and made sure all that was good. And we screwed in the fast idle valve, and now the car is idling perfectly at 1,000 RPM. Although you can probably hear that the car does have an exhaust leak that I'll probably end up fixing. This 5-bolt eBay downpipe is missing 2 of the bolts, and a lot of times when you don't put all the bolts in on the turbo, it will actually leak out of the bolt hole. So I'm going to see if I can get that fixed. I also had to get the intercooler piping back installed and the intercooler mounted. He doesn't have any brackets or any hardware to mount this thing, and it was supposed to just come in for a tune, so I just have it zip tied up for now. He can figure that stuff out. He said he's going to figure out the bumper and all that, so I'm just getting it, thrown on there for now so we can tune it. I also had to fix blow-off valve This pipe was actually routed wrong when he brought it in, where the blow-off valve was sitting up here, which it would have ended up hitting the hood in that scenario. So, fix the blow-off valve. I fixed the vacuum line going to the blow-off valve. Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can find 2 bolts to fix this noisy exhaust leak. And then after that is done, I have a set of plugs I'm gonna be throwing in it because it doesn't have turbo plugs in it. It's got the stock plugs, what he told me. So I went and got some BKR7s. I'm gonna chuck those in. And then we'll tune this thing on like super low boost. It's a stock motor. It's probably not gonna make a whole lot of power, but he just wanted it running and driving. And it pretty much already does that. So we're gonna tune this thing up, make sure it's safe, happy, healthy, and we'll get back to you in a minute. Alrighty guys, we got this one up and running. I got the BKR7s installed, and believe it or not, this one's gonna get cut off short. So problem with this car is I got in the driver's seat, started driving on the dyno, getting the cruising ironed out, and go to stab into this thing in like 3rd gear to, you know, see what it's gonna come up on boost, and it makes no boost, nothing, zero, nada, no turbo noises, no nothing. So I'm like, what the heck? Like that ain't cool. So I proceed to pull they had a little screen on the end of the compressor wheel, and I just kind of moved it out of the way so I can reach in there to see if the turbo was spinning, and the turbo is locked up tight. So I don't think this turbo ever spun when they dropped it off. Because I mean, I just idled the thing for like 2 minutes. It definitely wouldn't have locked up for me just idling it. So the turbo was bad to begin with when it got dropped off, but that just sucks. So nothing I can do with this thing, and we're just gonna have to move on to the next one. So it sucks. I wish I could. I wish I had stuff like that in stock where I can just upsell, but I don't have turbos. I do have turbos here, but nothing that is going to work well on this. Without a lot of modification, and I don't really have the time at the moment to continue doing a turbo install. So I just told him, come pick the car up, put a turbo on it, bring it back, and we'll get it ironed out the rest of the way. A few cars in the last day or so since the last clip that I made, and a lot of cars that have came in, they've just had some issues. I had a truck in earlier today, and it didn't have an OBD2 port wired into the harness, so I couldn't actually even plug into it. So I was bench flashing it back and forth, and that truck actually had some issues with either bad coil or dead injectors in it when he brought it to me. So he's gonna tidy up some of that stuff. It was like a square body Chevy that I was messing with, and then we also tuned a LS VTEC all motor Civic that I didn't film a whole lot of stuff because the VTEC line was squished, and VTEC wasn't really cracking that hard because the line that goes to the head on the LS VTEC was squished. And yeah, I've just been dealing with a lot of problem cars the last 2 days, and they've been getting me upset, but this one should be a lot of fun. So this car just got brought in, and it is a single cam unknown build. It's got to be built because it's been on a lot of boost previously and it hasn't blown up. Unknown cam, kind of unknown setup, honestly, with a precision turbo. Do you know if this is like a 5858 or 5431? So pretty small size turbo. This thing should jam pretty good, or should spool pretty good, I should say. And then it has a 1320 top mount manifold on it, skunk 2 intake, 1000 injectors, and a 450 pump with stock lines, E85 4-bar map sensor. Yeah, we're gonna do a couple tugs on it and get some baseline runs, and then after that we're gonna turn it up, get some tuning done on it. But these guys have been running this car for a while. On another dyno, it did make 400 horsepower, I was told. So we'll definitely see if my dyno is low, because not much else on the car has changed too much. So that'll kind of show us like, holy shit, the dyno really is reading low, or it's right on. So we'll find out. Got the headband. Okay, let's see here. So Fernando actually helped me out a while ago, and he gave me, we did some bartering, and I got my tuning laptop from this guy, and he's a local street tuner, right? Yep. and he wants to just get his feet wet on the dyno, and I'm gonna let him kind of take over the laptop. I'll watch over some stuff, and we're gonna try this thing out. It has a switch on it for boost control, I'm told, right?
Yeah.
So when the switch is activated, it activates a high boost map, and we're gonna just run it on low boost, kind of see what the car's doing, get some data, and then later we will turn the boost up with the switch here, assuming this thing has like a 4-port or 3-port solenoid on it, or
Yeah, it should have a 4-port on it.
4-port solenoid. Okay, cool, let's get it. And then we have this, so whenever we start the run, all we gotta do is hit the space bar. I'll control this stuff, but
Cool.
good to go. And this car is super cool because it is all cut to shit. I love it. Weighs what, 1,900 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,900 pounds. With passenger seat, full tank of gas, everything. So it ain't gonna take much power for this thing to really fly. Make sure it's up to temp.
A little bit.
Anything over like 160, I send them, but about at 20, I'll get out of it if it looks bad, you know.
Yeah. It might be a little lean, so.
Yeah. Yeah, like cruising and stuff right here seems kind of lean, but whenever you're ready.
Yeah,
Good?
You're ready.
Really rich. It was good before B, and then
Yeah.
you got the wideband into there.
Yep.
Sweet. How much boost was that?
Dyno, about 10 pounds.
10 pounds. Not
Nine.
revving it out very far.
Yeah,
I'm
about
saying
9
200
pounds.
horsepower. 9 pounds?
Yeah.
Oh, it's whining? Yeah. Has it got fluid in it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, about 9 pounds.
9 pounds. And then do you see where it's kind of getting rich?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's doing a little bit in the low map too, so I'm gonna take some out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do some adjustments. I'll go see what this thing laid down. Not going to burn the house down on that hit. That's for sure. Yeah, we got a little blotchy blotch going on, but 177. It was like 940 air fuel, so super rich. We'll probably just clean it up at this power or this boost level, and then after we get this boost level cleaned up, we'll turn it up. How much timing are you running?
It should be pretty conservative.
Okay.
Just depends on where and boost, obviously, but
Right.
around 30
Like
pounds, it should be like 10 degrees.
10 degrees on 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the one I did last night, I ran 8 degrees. Some people run as low as like 3, 4 at that boost, but we can start low and work up, you know.
Yeah, definitely actually have.
How much timing is in it at 10 pounds? Like 21 or something?
Yeah, about 21.17. Like
Okay.
a little drop there.
Okay.
Should be like around 18, but
Yeah. You ever run this thing at the track or no?
Not yet.
Not yet. You got slicks for it or no?
Nope.
No.
Closest thing to slicks I got are ET Street R's.
8200. So.
All right, so we did some fuel changes. We're gonna see if this thing picks up power. Same boost level, same timing. What?
Let me reopen real quick.
Okay. Yeah, there's just like one little spot right here where there's like a lull.
Yeah.
Between like 5K and 6K.
Yeah, that was like you gained still. You gained like 50
Yeah.
horsepower.
Yeah. Well, we revved it a lot higher.
Okay.
Yeah. Because before I got out of it here because it was so fat, it was so rich. But yeah, I made 221 now, so. It is a little blotchy up here, which tells me that it wants timing up here. That'll smoothen this out, so it's not like that. So weird. I'm not tuning. I'm just watching.
155 or 10, so it should be fine.
Good. Ready? Little single cam axles just a winging. Like 130 some mile an hour. See what it did. I'd still probably put a little bit in coming into it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
was a little
it's not
better.
bad, but the more fuel you put, like if you run like a 1250 air fuel coming into it, it tends to spool turbo a little bit faster, but not like it's not gonna. You probably won't notice much, but yeah, see how much smoother it got instead of it being blotchy like that. 227 on gate. Way up top, did it like fall off on boost or anything? Was it held the whole time?
Yeah.
So above, what fucking RPM is that? Probably like 7,500-ish. I'd put a degree in it because it's starting to like fall. Not fall, but the peak is like 75.
They get a little leaner.
Way up there?
Yeah. Maybe just slightly.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It seems pretty good. We could nitpick it if you want, but it's up to you.
I might change that. Just coming into it, add a little more fuel.
Yeah. If you want to come look at the dyno too, you can.
Yeah.
Comparing, yeah. So these two, this is putting that. Did you put 2 degrees in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's smooth it out.
Yeah. It didn't pick up power, but it, well, I mean, it picked up power here,
Yeah.
but
Definitely
it's not. Yeah. Right. So 227, and then you can see here, it starts to
Oh yeah.
fall off here. It's not bad. 227 to 223 or something. It's not terrible. It could be running out of cam right here,
Yeah.
or it could be like a lot of times if it's running out of cam or something right here, I put a degree in it and it'll just kind of keep right here instead of falling. But and then your VTEC is at what?
45, right?
Yeah.
45. Okay, so like right when VTEC hits, it's going flat, I think. It goes flat for a second and then picks back up. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
this area here, we could probably somehow stand that up. I don't know if it's going rich lean right here or what it's doing, or VTEC might just want to be a little higher or a little lower.
Still going a little lean right there, so I can add a little more. Because it was going way lean before and then crossover.
Right. It might want VTEC at 55 though, I don't know. Because like I said, with this cam and stuff, it all depends on the cam of the motor.
Yeah.
So if this cam likes V at 45, we leave it there, or it might like it at 55, which I think it might like it at 55 because that's when it starts to kind of go up. But I don't know. On the other side, the higher you put VTEC, the slower the turbo is going to spool. So
what do we do there?
It picked up 2 horsepower, but it's fucking wavy, man. I don't know why. It could be because this car just makes the dyno could be freaking out right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the dyno's freaking out. Let's be honest.
Yeah, because the air wheels look this.
Yeah, they looked perfect. Yeah, that's just the dyno being noisy. Everything's rattling and
Yeah.
all right, guys, so we did some pulls on low boost, kind of got that dialed in. This is the first car that I've actually had noise on the dyno. We actually did a pull where we had a really squiggly power curve, and that's just telling me that the noise on the dyno, there's just noise on the dyno which is throwing off the curve. So we did a 3rd gear run just to verify that the curve was smooth, and it definitely was. It overlaid 229, 229. And this is the run we did with 3rd gear, and then these are the 4th gear runs, and you can see here that this one's just really wavy. So I'm hoping that doesn't continue. We're gonna add boost to the car now and see what it does with boost, or with more boost, I should say. Tiny bit more boost there, not much, but it did pick up power. How much more boost was it?
Like a pound or 2.
Really?
Yeah.
So I picked up 13 horsepower on another pound of boost. So. And it would have made more power if I'd have kept going with it, but I saw I wasn't making more, so I was like, ah, fuck it, get out of it.
Yeah, I think that was
So we're gonna keep turning her up. We hit the boost cut on that one. 300 wheel. That's exactly what these things should do, man, on this dyno. It's like right at around 20 pounds like a 300 wheel-ish. But, I mean, that thing's on an uphill climb hard.
Yeah,
so it's going to keep going for sure. I'd give it even more duty, honestly. I don't know, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do next, you can do.
I might try ramping it in a little harder.
Oh, it's down here?
Yeah. I turned up 35. Good.
Yeah, you can see we only repped it to fucking 7,000.
Oh, so up at 8, that probably would have been like 250, right?
Nah, probably like 320.
Okay.
Ish. But we lost boost, right? Because that one pass was on 20 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
This one, right here.
I guess we're really comparing it to that.
Comparing it to these two. This line right here is the new one. Yeah. And then these are torque, obviously. You can see where you quick spool it right here.
Yeah.
fucking curve looks awesome, dude. Look at all this that stood up. It didn't really make any more peak power, but it stood right up. You got rid of this, you see that? That's what's up. So we were just playing with some boost control stuff, and you can see right here where the car had a lull, like where it kind of fell off. Get rid of this, couple of these other runs. So you can see we made a peak number here of 328. This one, we picked up power everywhere because we stood the boost up sooner, and that curve looks awesome with 326 horsepower. But I think this car's pretty close to out of injector. We're gonna try to see what we can do. We could just turn it all the way up, and then you can have a spray bottle of fuel, and you can spray it and turn on the Alright guys, so we are maxing the injectors way out on this thing, just trying to chuck way too much fuel in the table to make it hang on just a little bit longer. And this thing is jamming, guys. It would go, I would feel comfortable making 400 plus with this little single cammer if we had just a little bit bigger injector in it. It is like a ID 1000 and a 450 pump with pretty high base pressure already. So yeah, definitely really good running car, and we have a very good curve now. I'll show you guys what the curve looks like and what we are making for horsepower. So this is the current curve on the car, 354 wheel horsepower. Getting out of it early because it's just running me. It's running away fuel-wise. Same thing with the sleeper four-door single cam. That also had that set of thousands, and it ran out at the same spot on this dyno. So like I said, this dyno seems to be reading a little bit lower than other people's, but it's consistent. It does the same thing every time, so it's a great tuning tool. But anyways, Junior here, the owner of the car, definitely needs to teach me some ways of weight reduction. He cut this car up pretty good, and it is one light car, and I'm thinking I may do that with this car. I was thinking to, you know, just make it full race car and do simple dash, simple no door panels, no panels anywhere really, and cut anything out of the car I don't need. I think that'd be cool because it takes a lot less power to go really fast if you don't weigh as much. So, well, Fernando just said he put a glob of fuel in it and turned the boost duty down just a smidge, and we're gonna see if we can beat that 354 number this pass. So if it still runs away lean here, then we definitely know, like, okay, she is capped. Well, that is it, guys. We had a blast today tuning some cars, and Fernando and Junior came up here, had a blast. Fernando got his feet wet on the dyno, kind of saw what it was all about, and yeah, I like helping these guys out. They've always been supportive of Hunter Tuned, and that car's jamming, guys. It's got the new record on the Hunter Tuned dyno. 354 wheel, out of injector, just like all the other single cams. Hopefully this one will put some injectors in, and he'll bring it back. But damn, definitely making good power. But I'm out of here for the day. I am burnt. I'm gonna go home and chill. So have a great night. Better tomorrow. We'll see you later.